Boy, this gotta be one of them. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this or not. This shit, I'm trying to position. Ouch. Um, let's give an honor to source of the creator for making this possible, the most high and so forth. It's the winter solstice. I feel like a lot of things are coming up energetic wise. A lot of endings, ending of like an era. This 9 year has been, oh my gosh. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this. Not that it matters. Even if I do, I think one of the most honest things you have to be straight up with is yourself. I feel like a lot of men and women, it's something I came across or came into connection with recently was something I've been kind of doing most of my life. Not most of my life, but in the last, I can't say most of my life, but learning deeply about post-traumatic stress disorder. And if you don't know, look into it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Give gratitude to the ancestors known and unknown. Man, I've been purging so much. I'm talking about, energetically, emotionally, mentally, and so forth. The transitions of things when you're going through shit. Like, I feel lighter, I look different. Bruh, like my I've been like blowing out mucus for like the last 8-9 days. I know it's like a deep purge, especially from the emotional body, especially from what I've personally been experiencing. On my own personal experience, I think one of my deepest, I want to say wounds, but I want to also say it's not even just a wound. I can say it's more than just a wound. I can honestly say it's like because I'm grateful, because I was talking about post-traumatic stress, but I'm learning now there's something called post-traumatic growth, where you're learning from the negative and then the positive, like negative, positive, as in people perceive things, bad, good, but more so like the negative things being a representation of like the femininity, and then the positive. And there's different layers of yourself, discovering parts of yourself with that. So for me, confession time, I can honestly say, like, I can realize how from a lot of maternal wounds, dealing with the maternal or the mother wound, has brought me very close to the awareness of how I've had a sex addiction. Now, let me elaborate on that. How did this become? Because I don't even want to see that as something horrible. It's announcing what it is to be not just so much true, but acknowledging the fact of how being prematurely introduced to sex or exposed to, let's say, a sexual trauma early in age, and then what that does is that it has a ripple effect on how you grow into this life of performance. And that's what I'm noticing in the world now, like how as I've slowed down, I've seen so much, not even just around me, but as I've been told to slow down. Like I told you, even through the fact of like, I've been going through a lot of this purge with my body, like emotionally and so forth. And, my left side, for the most part, which is ruled by the mother, I've been purging that side for the longest. and whatever energy blockages and so forth, like even with my sinuses, like this part of my nose, like my soreness in my eye, you know, and I know there's things like those who study Reiki or those who know energy work, you know, that when pains or certain things are coming up in your body, tightness or something, it's energies trying to move or something's trying to come out. Things are trying to purge itself. Things are trying to your body's trying to rid itself of what no longer is no longer can be stagnant, or what has been stagnant, or what has been pushed down and pushed, you know, to be just repressed. And then that leads me to how liberating this shit has been. And if you're studying astrology, or, you know, more so the transits, how so much are connected right now for me, I've been noticing like how Lilith, the planet of Lilith, just came out of Scorpio and entered Sagittarius. I want to dive more deeper and do like a part 2 to this, because I have to pull up notes and I have to pull up things, what it actually represents. But I know to depths for me, that Lilith in Scorpio, bro, was now allowing me to go from the emotional parts, because the Scorpio is the hidden things, and Lilith also represents that liberating, and also the depths of the darkness, you know, the feminine, the feminine, or, you know, the feminine principle archetype that cannot be tamed. And boy, this last 9 months has just prepared me to speak on a lot of things when it comes to that, being confident in, now that Lilith is in Sag, with Sag rules more that philosophy, truth seeking, and fire energy. Man, it's like, yo, now that I can sit here and talk about it's more than the depths of the sexual addiction in itself. It was showing me like even the predatorial behavior when we are exposed as children so young to signs of, or to spirits, to energies exposed so young, so innocently, to, let's say, you know, the corn or porn, you know, just so many things that we're fed young. And then almost like, depending on, you know, your dynamic or how your mother and father met, you're talking about generations of even people with behavior like this that was never, like, especially the aggressive aspect of it. You know, just imagine like how many, you know, of us as men who have had this ideology or idea around even what sex is supposed to mean. So for me, what has been really highlighted, like when I say a sex addiction, it's more naturally when you see the more predatorial, how we were groomed, or even like how music, how media, how art, how so many things was put and forced in our face to remove not just the sovereign and sacred and liberation aspect of it, but more so like the protection of it. Because if you're exposed to something so young like that, if you're given something so young and then you have no guidance, and that means that you're misguided young to, this is what this is supposed to mean. This is how sacred this really is. So for me, I tell myself like, fuck. And what I had to be honest with myself about is that I can say from connections, like when you want to build on something, and it's not just coming from a wounded aspect, it's not just the wounded, because I feel like that word is so oversaturated. It's the distortion around what even sex represents, or even the energy exchange or the connection with that. So for me, it's like, damn, like, oh my gosh, like these lessons, this mindset around even how to approach to see myself now more sensual rather than just a little boy so young growing into a man with this over over sexualized, or which can be perceived sometimes as depending on what one is exposed to, perversion. And like now seeing the world shift, it's like there is no, due to the misguidance or misdirection, you can see how people overextend or stretch themselves so much so through, even depending on if they're exposed to sex young, stretch themselves so thin through it. And then how even that can be a gateway to, let's say, drugs. Like, people don't realize, like, a lot of stuff is a bridge. Like, oh my God, like a lot of stuff is a bridge to so many different worlds, so many different realms, so many different realities, so many different things. And I'm learning through the fact of what I just went through. Like I said, research the Lilith in Scorpio, bro. And I'm sitting here like, what has been restored in me and what I've been purging is to realize, for one, learning myself. For one, when I'm talking about the foundations a lot of us were given, especially me as a Pluto and Scorpio generation, or just a millennium, it's just natural for me to expose, to expand, if that makes sense. I cannot like not see what's going on, or not feel, or not see the importance of, like, one thing I also had to accept more of is how much of my solitude is needed and appreciated, for me to realize that my sensitivity is not a curse. And that's why I'm like so sensitive with myself, and learning how my sensitivity was taken for granted young, whether it's my vulnerability with speaking, whether it's my sharing or it's my self-expression, whether it's whatever it is, a part of who I am, and learning that that's not a curse. I used to believe that. Like, a lot of us need to be reminded that, like, y'all don't realize like how much I've been in certain weather that has been so freaking cold, to where like when I tell y'all, when I get some of the sun, it just be woo. So yeah, I'll just put it right here. So yeah, like, real talk, like, oh shoot. Yeah, like a lot of things, like I might need to go, yeah. But for real, like, a lot of things has really I've been so honored and grateful for that now, that I can really expand on what it is I'm creating and what it is I'm doing, because I have more confidence in that being sensitive, that layered version of myself where I can be honest with myself, because that sensitivity is that that vulnerability that we all eventually have trying to escape from. So just imagine, let's say this, like I was telling you about the Lilith and Scorpio aspect. I was so sensitive with sharing what I didn't know what was sacred to me, which was that part of me, which was sexually, until I realized, like, now I'm even more sensitive to have gone through relationships, connections, even learning more deeply about my connection with my children and the mother of my children, like, even seeing what was being exposed to me through how things were built. This cat is like, I hear a voice, but I don't see that. Hey, but anywho, even the honesty through that shit, man, like, where in societal norms, the sensitivity can be something that's deemed as disempowerment or devalued in so many ways. And I'm like, nah, like I've been recognizing the power that I have restored in that Lilith in Scorpio transit from March 27th, I want to say, of this year until the day before, which was December 20th, 2025. And with that, it's like, again, if you haven't been paying attention, it affects people differently. It affects people on different levels. So for me, I've been telling myself, like, it reveals so much of like me harnessing a power sexually. And in that dynamic, again, it was also revealing to me how much where I was giving my power over. Like it goes into depths of like not just power, but sexual power, because whatever Scorpio is connected to is dealing with that the rim of that, or that connection to that, whether things secret, whether things partnerships, whatever Scorpio is ruled by. So I've been going through a major transformation with my sensuality, sexuality, and a lot of those things that I've been talking about has been coming up very heavy. And so for me, that's been the biggest thing for me that has been coming up. Like even like questioning my everything to do with my personality, my identity, my sexual preferences, my sensitivity, like how sensitive it was around that aspect, even through like how sensitive sex was, and then realizing like the deeper wounds or the healing through that. What it could have done for a lot of us, exposed like how you view sex, how it was introduced. And what that does, it can highlight how your relationship with yourself and what your current relationship is with other people, whether platonic, romanticized, or whatever it is. It could bring up so much of, internalized things, emotional depths of how and who you are when it comes to that certain topic of sex. And in that world, it can be very different. It can be very sensitive. And if you are in dealing with Scorpio, that's very, because Scorpio rules the area of the body, which is that some may call it the lower nature, but that lower region where sacral or solar plexus energy, creative life force energy, down there in the vaginal and or genital area. So a lot of these things spiritually and physically it's very significant. And for me, it revealed a lot through transformation of like how I viewed it, how I feel like it can sustain their connection, how I stayed in connections over the years, what I was giving my power to. Now I'm trying to tell you, bro, it was deep, because now I'm starting to recognize the fucking patterns and the lessons. Like, hold on, this is much more deeper than just me playing around and really believing that this is just something to be like to play with. No, it's very sensitive. It's a very sensitive subject for a lot of us. And the reason why it's so sensitive is for us, it can be very traumatic. It can also, a lot of people don't even realize, like, they don't even know the difference between being sensual and being sexual. And some can say that comes with maturity. I can say it comes with emotional maturity, lessons, growth. It can come with a lot of things. But it also depends on the individual, if they're willing to evolve and see past. Like, what this has really shown me, for me, is how deeper I've got to know myself, and how you come to terms with how you even approach life, how you even approach connections. One of the biggest things they also were revealing to me during that transit was people's perspective. When you are physically attractive to some people's in natural eye, some people can feel like you have, depending on their perspective, their mind, how they view sex, or how they view sex, or their perspective on sex, that can be something that they lead with. And I have to ask myself, through this healing aspect or through this very transformative time now, being able to speak about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's one of the biggest things where I had to confess to myself, like, how did I become a sex addict? And then when I look at a lot of behavior patterns young, I'm like, well, I was exposed and I came from one. And when I mean come from one, I mean like when you're talking about someone who, you know, because this can be very sensitive, but if it's relatable, I get it. If it's not, you know, when I look at an individual or known of someone who, and everyone doesn't do everything for the same reasons, but known personally of people who have prostituted, I ask myself the idea, like, is there in some way, shape, or form, do they have an addiction to sex? And if so, then was that something that led them into it? Or was there some type of deeper trauma that allowed them to create children from it? Because that's what a lot of things can happen, where I've said this before in previous videos, where it can be a very sensitive subject from people who have been SM, you know, that's sexually, you know, or being, you know, SA, sexually, you know, assaulted and whatever, you know. And there are so many things to where now doing that transit, the things that we're not, you know, face. And this is what I'm learning about karma and lessons that no one is exempt from. Whatever's not faced and never's not pushed down, I immediately, and I feel like this is just who I am as a student of life, and even as a teacher, as I talk about it, or how I go into eventually my empowering lectures and so forth, is how to guide people to realize, like, through my own knowing who I am, I'm going to express this the best way I know how. And whether it can be triggering, it's still a gateway. Whether it is not, it still can be a portal or a gateway to you to get to learn, or guide to you to get to learn something about, even if about you personally, but about someone else. So it's a bridge either to get to know you more, or a bridge to get to know someone else outside of your, you know, culture, creed, world, and so forth. And that's the beauty of what I realize, what connects us all now that Lilith is in this philosophy aspect of the truth seeker. People are going to naturally be, it's going to be easily now exposing those who are not really, truth to me, it can be very complex. You know, it's not even just complex. Knowing thyself is truth to me. So the more you get to know yourself and your connection to whatever higher power or source, to source was what I call it, the creator, the most high, and knowing yourself on a primordial level, primordial level, or effeminate, to get to know yourself through layers and layers, the deeper you'll get to know the different layers and aspects of other people in life. And it's like you begin to not be serious and take stuff. So you're like, you know what? It's like looking at children in the adult bodies. So for me, you're going to see now, as I was reading and learning more about the Lilith and Sag, there's going to be more of a, because I can see the Lilith and Scorpio. I don't got hot in this month. The Lilith and Scorpio is more so what interconnects us, or, you know, whether to ourselves and other people. So a lot of these transits are what, again, is going to connect you to self, which connect us all in some type of way, whether we want to accept it or not. So this Lilith and Scorpio transit was showing me that in itself, how it's more the emotional. So whatever people hid, were hiding, whether secretly and so forth. You will see a highlight around the SA, the SM, in the family dynamics, a lot of things that I were talking about. Even the book that I just finished about a letter from a man with a mother wound. That significance of that, even the image of how, the image, I'll share it, I'll probably post it on this video, of recovering like my heart. But it's more than just my heart. It's the heart, the love that I feel that was lost. Because it was, you see it on the what do you call that? The circle thing that you recover, like when you're trying to save a life, and in reality, it's like the symbolic of saving myself, because I cannot save no one else. And the water represents the emotion, the ever-changing emotions, the feminine archetype, the layers of, parts of the water, the depths, and then the water is very clear. All of that is very symbolic. And even with that, the book, the image also connects to the fact of how it can seem like you're lost at sea, which I connect to the aspect of like us being lost in our own emotional depths of what we haven't faced, what we refuse to see. And with that transit of Lilith and Scorpio, whether, collectively, this is what we all go through collectively. And as we're coming out of that, what's going to be highlighted more so on all levels is how you're going to see people who are very manipulative, that did not face the emotional parts of themselves when Lilith was in Scorpio, who did not speak up for not just the human rights, but the autonomy, or this just, purge or do the inner work or the shadow work that was very highlighted in that Lilith and Scorpio transit. So this is on a personal level, but also a collective. And with that, now that Lilith is transitioning to a fire sign, we know that fire can be very impulsive or transformational. And also, it's funny because the book says a letter from a man in my what do they call it, the prelude or the preview page, a letter from a man with a mother wound. And in the preview page it says being birthed, birth from, is it say first being birthed from the water through the flame, something like that. But when you get a copy, you'll be able to see that. But what a lot of it was revealing to me personally, and what's so sensitive about it, and that I can confidently speak about, has a lot to do with those parts of ourselves emotionally that we want to, or we tried or attempted to. And this is the beauty about evolution. And no matter what, there's nothing to fear, because as you get to learn yourself more deeply, you realize there's nothing to fear when it comes to anything externally, because it begins inwardly. And so now this Lilith and Sag transit is going to expose everything from the emotional, because things elemental, we go through different seasons, we go through different things transformatively. Now that it's in fire, you're going to see more that fire element be exposed in so many different ways. Like people who, let's say, proclaim to call themselves whether influence, prophets, certain leadership, religiously, so many different things, to where as evolution happens over time and people get to learn themselves deeper, there are people who are called, and peoples and millions, whatever, that as this individual and collective shift happens, it's going to naturally create a wave of energy, of transformation. So now that those who have done this shadow work or inner work and so forth, they're now seeking that what resonates with them on a higher level, because also Sag is like a higher level philosophy, philosophically. Ooh, yeah, the truth seeker. So, with a lot of this now, I realize what was truly happening, because a lot of what those who have been in alignment have been doing, there is no fear of anything, because we're not fearless. We don't need to fear anything. So as things going to continue to collapse and be exposed, there is going to be those already in alignment. So going back to my own personal experiences, I'm recognizing, for one, when I look at these transits that have happened, I'm like, whoa. I recognize that a lot of these generations and elders who didn't do the inner work during certain transits, during certain seasons, they start to look like, feel like, be like that which they did not acknowledge. Because the saying always goes is, what you do not acknowledge someday will fight. No, what you ignore will someday fight to be acknowledged. And that's been very heavy. I mean, very high, I should say, not heavy, but like light. Like I've been noticing in certain places, like, whoa, y'all gotta realize, like, with that can create a lot of chaos for other people, because no one's bigger than the program. I gotta blow my nose. No one's bigger than the program. And the beauty of all of this is, one moment, I gotta blow my nose. You gotta get it out. Woo. Sinuses. Man, I feel like, bro, it's been weird. Like, the environments I was in, bro, I know I'm purging stuff. It smells funny, tastes it. I don't even eat meat, but it's like stuff been coming out my body. I feel like whoa. Whoa. I know it's stuff leaving my body. Ooh, y'all gonna I don't care. So what's been very highlighted for me, I told y'all about goodness gracious, bro. Woo, I be feeling, oh my gosh. That just, I don't know. Whew. Okay. So, I told you how this Lilith and these transits are going to highlight so much, to where that which, what was it saying? Like, it was talking about dogmas and religious things, a lot of things that a lot of us already know, that because Lilith in itself, like, let me talk about this. It's more than just I was telling you about the sensitivity around the addiction thing. Lilith in itself, the energy of Lilith, the energy of that in itself highlights so much where it can no longer be oppressed, because that's the energy that cannot be tamed. That's the thing about feminine energy. This is why I always highlight the matriarchal aspect. When you look at who has been suppressing so much, repressing it, and have felt oppressed. Now, when I say that, then that's one layer of things. Now, when you talking about on nationality, whether indigenously, is that a word? Indigenous aspect, then that's a whole nother layer. Then when you're talking about capitalism, when you're talking about, other different things on so many different levels, This is where people are going to start to realize, like, how much, and let me tell you some real shit that men will never acknowledge, bro. If you have had, I'm going to tell you firsthand, because, for one, I grew up in the South. But then I start, because, boy, this is what I do. I start breaking this shit down layers and layers and start getting out of stuff. I'm like, you know what? Wow. It ain't so much of when you have been influenced early to repress things, suppress it, then what cannot be overlooked is the fact of you either have oppressed others or you have either been part of the oppression or even been subjected to or a victim of oppression. And I feel that happens on all levels. Let me dive a little deeper. I see it, again, perspective, how people indigenously have been oppressed. I also see how they have oppressed themselves and other people. When you choose not to liberate yourself, walk in your sovereignty, when you continue to repress that which is laying dormant, that which is unhealthy, that which is toxic, or that which is keeping you distorted, then how the fuck are you not, as when you looking at the media, artists, everything in the last century, last era, and so forth, how are y'all not seeing how people of different shades, no matter the darkest of darkest and light of the light, haven't been a part of oppressing not just women, but children and collectively people? This is what can no longer be ignored. This is that Lilith and Sag that's going to make your ass so uncomfortable. I can say I've been a part of stuff when I was like, hold on. It's like you playing the game and then getting pimped by it. Are you the player? But then you start recognizing everyone who's controlling the player. Not even just that. What game are people in? So now what's going to be exposed on so many different levels are not only the players, but who's controlling. It's like a video game. Who's controlling that player? What's behind them? What's fueling them? Who's putting that battery in their back? Notice how a lot of people are denouncing. You're going to see more of it. Whether things religiously, when it comes to leadership, when it comes to streets, when it comes to certain things and so forth. It's already here. It's already here. The shift is already here. The split, everything. And the beauty of it is that going back to realizing, like, that which can no longer be suppressed is going to reveal itself through patterns. Then you will no longer repress it. Then you're no longer depressed about it. So now all that pressure, now you start to realize who's oppressing who. So with that comes a collapse in everything that was built upon that which has suppressed you, continue a pattern of repressing that which and then again, you're going to see it highlighted in areas, peoples, so forth and so forth. And you're like, wow, you literally have people building something to oppress a people, and they literally, what they were creating, they literally was creating for themselves. Imagine the trickster being tricked. Or did the trickster already know? But the funny thing about all of this is that I tell myself I'm living through some funny ass shit right now. And that's why I cannot take it serious, because like I said, I'll be called in certain environments. And now, you know, again, I grew up in environments where I saw people that looked like me. And I thought they were going through shit, you know, worse than anybody else. And then Source, Creator, Most High move you into places, like, let you see a different perspective. Like, no. It ain't that ain't even the half of it. So imagine creating something for someone, and this is what's so personal about you. Imagining holding yourself accountable and doing the inner work or facing these things, and what you end up creating, instead of allowing that which who give your power to what you so-called, what was oppressing you, because everyone's reality in life is different. My oppression is not the same. Is it relatable when it comes to a certain level of people who are indigenous? That's something I can relate to. But people who live in a whole nother country, who have had wealth come through their family different through finances, it's not relatable to an indigenous person in America. It's not the same. To comparison is a thief of joy. That's also a system that's collapsing. This is why so much of our bodies and shit, mentally, emotionally, y'all think that you just purge your fucking self. Bro, the purging is happening inwardly. Our mind, the food. It's so many things. And it's like, you ever walked on, I'm trying to think, how could I use this analogy? You ever walked across something with a thin ice? And that's what I feel like. It ain't just America. A lot of people in life are skating on thin ice, bro. That's what the elders used to say. You motherfuckers skating on, boy, you skating on thin ice. That's how you got to be about you. I'm going to say this very clearly. A lot of people knew they were skating on thin ice with me. I don't give a fuck who it is. A lot of the energies, a lot of spirit, whatever it is. They knew they were skating on thin ice. That's how you got to deal, bro. I can't take you motherfuckers serious. You knew you were skating on thin ice. Now your ass don't fail. Now you want me to reach down and help your ass so you can pull me in too? No. Absolutely not. No. And that's the thing I realized, like, when I look at, and this can be very fucking difficult for people. If my mindset changed, some people will go against the fact that I'm not trying to be something that I don't want to be. I no longer resonate with that. That's another thing about Lilith and Sag. It's like belief systems. I've been developing something so long, for this long, and the source is saying, like, you keep going, you build upon your core values. Has it worked for you? Is it sustainable? Yes. So why the fuck would I change it? Because of what? Because somebody want to offer me a contract? Because somebody want to offer me this? Because somebody want to come along? That's what y'all don't realize, what has oppressed you. Because you've given your power. And then now that this shit is collapsing, now that you realize that the leaders and people of y'all have put, you know, in certain status, because you put them there. Your energy put them there. They were given a title. They were also given the same abilities you fucking have. Everyone has given gifts, but everyone has the ability to abuse it. See, the beauty of Aquarian age is that what Pluto and Aquarius is also revealing is that we all have fucking powers. We all have the power to love ourselves, to do things different. We all have we all have the ability to do something different, unique, organic. And as I tell myself, I'm like, people could perceive oppression or dysfunctionality so many different ways. How I see it, my perspective, I question. I'm saying, like, you got this person want me to be this because of a certain color and creed. You got this person want me to be a part of this religion or this belief system because of what they believe is their truth and what they feel when they leave this world, where they're going to go. I have to be able to look at these people's life or look at something and ask myself, not are they even just happy? Are they even at peace? Do they even get along with other people? Do they even enjoy their life? Let me take a moment and look at their well-being, bro. All this shit is a fucking joke and a hoax. I'm saying, like, bro, all of this cloud coach, all of this stuff, I'm saying, like, I've been sitting here in the rearview mirror. I had my hair like this. I feel like, what, like, glimpses, I felt like, what was that movie? Like, how I had my hair glimpse in the mirror. I feel like Killmonger. But the image was, when I looked in the mirror, but I started to reflect on the fact of, like, this is your leader. Like, when y'all look at the people in your life, you really rather let someone else lead you rather than you knowing what it is to lead your own self. Look at what you've enabled. This Lilith and Sag going to expose these, what y'all want to call false prophet, who just profit up off your pain. Systems that profit up all your energy, cipher and shit like that. Expose so much more countries, leaders. They're not exempt either. I'm talking about on so many levels. So many levels. So many levels. So many levels. It's still unbelievable to me to see how you can only share and acknowledge and move forward and realize, like, allow your, it's not, I've accepted more like not to have no attachment to nothing. Because I told you, this country, when you see what is created from it, the energy of it, and what it's ruled by, it's how it's had to go out of, it's how you have to go out. It's how the energy is going to go out. That's how it's playing out, because it's ruled by Cancer, but it's the detachment of the America's moon is Aquarius, bro. If you know anything about that, you'd be like, it's not even about trying to fight for a cause. You are the fucking cause and the effect. You realizing you're the cause, you're going to realize as whatever you do is going to have a natural effect, whatever you want to call it. Naturally. How did I learn that best? Boy, having an Aquarius mother, having an Aquarius daughter. There's certain moments where you just got to let them be. By carrying that, we all carry the energy, but it's just like you just got to let it be what it is. And then know when to choose not even your battle. That's another thing, is that realizing, like, I was saying, like, yo, I don't have to get involved with that. That's what pisses people off more. That's what pisses energies off more. When you realize I don't got to get involved with that. I don't have to involve myself with that. That's also growth in emotional intelligence. That's also showing how we're evolving. Growth is, I don't have to give my energy to that. I don't care how pissed you are, how angry you are, because I pulled my energy back. I stepped away because I don't want to be a part of this movement or that movement or that. I don't have to move. I am the vibe. I am the movement. Y'all have been in a world of performance. Performance. I mean, look at how look at how everything has been displayed in the last 100 years. It's amazing. It's great. But it's performance. It's geared towards, it's been a push forward towards a lot of performance. Who could perform the best? All this comparison. All this comparison. Who's number one? I mean, look at everything. Again, my perspective. My own perspective. Why do you care about being number one if the world sees number one? And this is why I felt we have been robbed so much very young. Had my mother and father told me very young, you're number one in everything you do. You're number one in your life. You're number one. And whatever that means, it's like you're number one. You don't have to come second to no one. Even how parental, like family dynamic, look at how they have made women to put themselves, and when I always say how they made you how they program to put yourself aside, to where it naturally creates opposition with you in the partner, in the husband. I've seen this shit play out through dynamics, even personally, where you can be in something where, let's say, personally, you can go through you can go through things and so forth, and then along down your journey, you can come to this awareness of like, you know what? Why am I taught to put my dreams or put whatever it is aside when my life is just beginning? Some people literally believe that their life has ended. Some mothers believe their life has ended when they bring children in this fucking world. So they don't even know, they give up, they don't know how to create outside of that. And guess whose fault it is? It'll be your fault as a man or a husband or everybody else's fault in the world. And it's not intentionally, it's just they were never told very young that your life literally begins around, once you go through your Saturn returns, 30s, early 30s, and your life start peaking around, your, mid 40s, mid 30s, early 40s for women and men. It's like, what the fuck? I'm sitting here, I realize in the climate or the energy how people have literally allowed other people, the world, even generations before us, to tell us like your life no one cares. This is this is why this collapse systematically of the America, the energy, the contract in itself is done. Those who know, when you're talking about 200 and something years of reign, the new order, new earth of things has a lot to do with the fact of, that contract is void. It's even a desperation the other day where someone had, make it real short, being pulled over by a policeman who I already knew what I was getting into. Because for one, this the area. Then you're talking about the energy of the desperation of them trying to make himself feel superior because of trying to uphold the American dream or authority, the false process of false empowerment. And there was so much trying to get a reaction out of me, not just being an indigenous man, but I already knew I was being profiled. But it was the fact of how it orchestrated from going from how I seen the individual first. I seen him first, and the way he pulled out in front of me was already alarming, but it showed me the energy of what's collapsing. It was so impulsive. It was such in a way of, I got to get someone, those who know, or I got to meet a quota before such and such. So it's like shit you be already knowing as you get to know and slow down. The way he jumped out in front of me, to get over. And I already picked up on intuitively, like, you know what? If this person's over here, either he's going to look, which he saw me in his rearview mirror. You know, it's not, for those who don't know, it's not difficult to see a darker person in a vehicle. You know, you can clearly tell, like, if they don't have tinted windows or whatever, it's easy to see, you know, their hair structure, their skin color, and so forth. I mean, shit, I can see people through, when I be looking in the rearview mirror, it's easy to see in the rearview mirror. So that already told me, again, to be prepared. It's the energy that is so desperate to try to keep people looping. That's the fear aspect, to keep people in, keep something desperately attached that is collapsing. And this is a celebration of beauty of what's to come. What's already done. So that whole incident to where I'm in this lane, the way he pulled out was like, why did you do that? He got over. And so, you know, I'm just driving. He gets behind another vehicle. And, you know, something was like, you know, just go into this neighborhood. And I had my son in the car. And then I was like, okay. So I said, let me turn this neighborhood. I already kind of picked up on, if he gonna come, he gonna come. I'm in a turning lane. He's 1, 2, so if you want to call it 3 lanes, he's 2 lanes over. So as I get into this lane, people are behind him, because people, again, it's the energy of fear. There's this fear around people not wanting to go past the police when they see him. Even a state trooper, I see this shit all the time. It's so funny. Y'all been running from truth and acknowledging and realizing, like, the energy of countries, environments, even the earth, how fear is being fucking evaporated, like removed, denounced. It's being renounced, whatever you want to call it. It's being dispelled. Y'all don't realize you hold the energy. This is why ancestrally, y'all, those who did not fulfill certain things ancestrally, had nothing to do with them. Those are the highest good, had nothing to do with them not, their mission was just to do what they were supposed to do, which just simply walking who they were, unapologetically. Now, who do we know to do that? Naturally, organically. And it's not all, but try their best to show up and do that. And I'm not talking about with people pleasing and shit and hiding behind and using their skin color, or because people of darker shade do it too, but using that as a false sense of empowerment and hierarchy. So that which isn't like that will be exposed. So for me, I told myself, I'm like, yo, I'm not even finna trip. So as I get over, then this one, he just automatically shoots over. And then boom, lights come on. So I already knew there, like, I already felt it. I said, okay, we're going to see how this goes. Even the interaction, like, let down my window. I said, what's up? For one, this is the beauty of leading with love and being authentic. Because you got to realize that which came before you, you can either choose to be that person. This is what chosen is. You can either choose to walk in fear or walk in authenticity and love. Truth. Hey, look, bro. This is what it is. Da 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 da. I'm gonna be real and raw with y'all. This is not to say someone is irresponsible because certain situation. If you've been following me, you know. There are people out in this fucking world who don't have insurance, who are suffering from the fact of what economically and capitalism and control and manipulation has done to them, not just generationally, but how it affects people that are certain shades of color, that are darker shades. There's so many people out here in much love and grace that don't talk about it, but I will, because it's just a real one. Shit. Y'all looking for truth? Here it is. Now, people out here, this is the shit that be so funny to me. You got people out here that boast and brag about how they feel they're so successful. because of what they can bring to the table, what they have and shit like that, and rah, and their cars and blah, 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 this and that. But be ignoring the whole climate of what I told y'all. This shit was building, this shit has been building on, this shit has been built, literally created off of the energies that y'all can no longer ignore no more. So in that collapsing, that's the energies that are going to collapse with it for things to be recreated. So for me, I'm telling myself, like, hey, with that interaction, I'm realizing I'm interacting with an energy, this person, whatever energy that they're holding, to try to see, like, you know, what do I do in this moment? Do I react? What's natural? Or do I respond in a calm manner knowing that the victory is already here? Ain't shit gonna happen to me. And then those who have been following me, this is what I was getting to about, I let them know real and raw. License and registration. At this moment, like, and this is again, this is not being irresponsible. People go through things to let you know, like, a certain system will keep a motherfucker in a headlock if you're not ready, if you're not really realizing, like, how much that certain things were put into place to keep a certain people oppressed. If you can't relate, then I don't expect you to. But certain systems in place, like how they ticket people, how they give people stuff, and so forth, just for what? Just for them, like, to keep them in a loop of paying something, knowing that, you know, that keeps them going through this loop of trying to survive a system or the policing aspect and all like this, knowing that they're being targeted. I mean, I'm telling you, I've gone to neighborhoods where the police mindsets are completely different than the ones in certain mindsets in certain demographics. And I know people will come on this bitch and be like, oh, well, it's because of the crime. It's because... That's, bro, I've been in neighborhoods where predominantly the neighborhoods is not of darker people. You just don't see the crime. You just don't hear about it. They protect the shit. We all know that. Those who real ones know. And we don't do, people of indigenous, we ain't even finna go there, don't even do most of, when it comes to the deeper aspect of crime in itself, a certain thing. We know what's documented. We know what, again, it has been exposed and continue to be exposed on levels as such, to make it seem, again, all this superior, inferior aspect of making people seem like they're more of a certain power, to keep people divided, to keep people creating more communities that they don't want to live in and so forth. Anywho, so that interaction just showed me, again, a man that's probably like, he looked like he was in his later 60s. So I already know what generations I'm dealing with. A generation. He's unhappy. It's almost like he was bitter. It was already this power struggle thing. Like, well, do you have your life? No. Because like I said, if you've been following me, you know that I've been in a transition where when you grow up, and this is the full responsibility of people not coming at you about the importance of how having a license or having certain things are important, and then you grow up into adulthood and realizing, like, that shit catches up with you. Now, it's not saying something I've been ignoring. It's the fact of, you know, you want to look at shit realistically, but then unrealistically, it's like, okay, you see someone trying to go out here and make a living or do something and then create a life around it, then balance things out with trying to, you know, go to work, get a position, feed their children, do this and do that, and all, like, balance all this, and all the while dealing with their own vices, dealing with opposition from police, from society and so forth, and da. And here you are trying to do the righteous or upright thing and be not even the good guy and stay out of trouble. But unrealistically, let's be real. I told my partner the other day, I tell people all the time, like, you don't know what it is. You think people aren't hired in certain positions to target? Like, it's all been exposed. And the energy will continue to be exposed. Because all it's going to expose is the hearts of people, the hearts of man. and the women who protect it. And then as it collapsed, now they realize it's collapsing in on their ass. Because then I started paying attention to this also. This may be a very harsh reality for certain people, but I'm recognizing who upholds systematically a lot of this stuff and who represents it. And I'm like, why are you at this age still doing this? But you've been told that, that's something to be brave, and, you want to do this for your country. You want to protect those who just look like you. I know this already. But I also recognize your generation of warlike consciousness. You're not really too fond of people. I mean, it got even ridiculous to the fact of, to where you have to stand your ground and stand in your truth and honor your truth to realize, like, listen, man, this is why I'm driving. And my partner and I at that time, I'm telling, like, in the shelter, transitioning, stuff like this. And you want to tell, I'm letting you know. And do they care? No. The energy of America? No. The detachment? You're dealing with generations who are not created of compassion. So why would I expect that? I don't expect shit, especially as an indigenous man from a man who looks like that. Y'all got to realize I've told y'all about mutual trust. I haven't seen mutual trust or showing. I have to know what I went through and what my ancestors went through. That's not to say something cannot be reinvented and recreated. That's not the point. At every person that looks like them, I have to look at the collective aspect of what has been generated through the media, through the music, and so forth. And even, it's not even about mutual trust. That's the same thing with niggas that are darker. This the same thing. Niggas who push the music to devalue, dehumanize women and children. To just simply want to do this and do all this and just make it seem like all of a sudden they want to just... No, that's work you got to do too. I ain't just going to be easily trusted to even cats like that, who denounce their children for the streets, who don't want to encourage the women to step away when they need to do better for themselves. It's a lot that I can go into depth of, but just that interaction showed me. This fool had to know to even to mention, at the time, I realized a lot of things is grace and favor. I know he wanted to tow the car. I know he wanted to do a whole bunch of things, but I had to realize favor, divine favor. And I'm grateful, but it showed me the shift, because you're dealing with men who are power driven. You're dealing with a distorted patriarch. You're dealing with the fact that in that moment, I knew that shit was collapsing. Because at the time, that was a representation of the leadership that y'all enable. Seeing men like that prey on other men who they are not familiar with, that can represent what reflects divinity, a masculinity and femininity, but also the fact that I don't have to prove shit. I don't have to perform. A lot of what people do in these uniforms, whether they're on stage or whatever the fuck they do, y'all perform. Y'all performing for that manager. You performing because you don't know what it is to embrace a certain failure, or even to learn a lesson in how to reconstruct and rebuild yourself. So you rather perform in your ego rather than to rise into your higher self and your higher nature, to love yourself through the fact of how you can just be your own individual, your own unique self. So now what? So that really showed me the collapse, because a lot of these representation I've been noticing, a lot of this generation or generations, and I look at it from both melanated and especially lighter shade people. A lot of them, they're fucking exiting. This may seem very harsh to people. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Y'all don't even know the energy these people carry. The entities, the attachment, the fucking anger, the bitterness. When you are a generational curse breaker and a cycle breaker, our righteous anger to them is seen as an attack. So they go into defense. So then they want to use that power struggle. So then they all of a sudden they want to use or reframe and remove certain things, or you're not able to do this. Bullshit. Then let alone what they enabling their sons and their daughters. I feel for y'all. I really feel for you. But not the ones who are sitting here trying to uphold the other, self-hatred that you knowingly been going on. Come on, bro. And there's no, like I said, I point out it's in the dark community, the darker shaded community too. Y'all been the ones who protect predators, the one who protect the people, the abusers in the fucking family. You are no fucking different than going on a job and turning a blind eye to what the fuck really been going on. Because you afraid of consequences. Because you're afraid of facing yourself in lessons. Because you're afraid to lose your position. Boy, I'm glad it's collapsing, boy. Y'all don't even realize it. Don't let me get into, y'all already know, don't let me get into the athletes, all that other shit. All these folks that be playing small, all y'all be sitting here acting like this and that. Bitch, you mad at the world because you been oppressed, and then you oppressing the children. Then you suppressing your shit because you got to go into a workplace because you an athlete, because you go over here and you over here. Man, fuck it all. It's all the same system. Fuck out of here. Get out of here. It's all the same system. And you a part of it. You ain't exempt. How you not of the part of the oppression when you knowingly knowing what's going on with the kids? You ain't guiding them. You a part of the misguiding. Because you afraid to lose your millions and your job and so forth. You still a fucking slave then. Mentally, you still chained. Your inner child is still chained. To you, the fear of you liberating yourself and walking in your sovereignty. I don't care who you are. Now tell me I'm lying. Psh. Y'all motherfuckers be joke, bro. This shit be, bro. It's a joke. This shit is a, bro. It's so funny. Y'all inner childs are still chained. Whether it be to whatever you experienced in your childhood, your inner child is still chained to that memory. To whatever you didn't face during certain transitions, your inner child is still chained. That's why you still out here seeking. Your inner child is still chained to that memory. So you take it into your policing. You take it into your accounting, your lawyer. You take it into you being a judge. You take it into, man, all that shit. You take it into your school. You take it into you being a principal. You take, man, all of it. All of it's connected. Cut it out. I mean, tell me any different. How isn't your inner child still chained if you haven't liberated? If you were never taught, if you were never introduced to anything differently? A lot of y'all stay in the same fucking neighborhood because your inner child still chained at the house 5 minutes, 5 blocks, 5 steps down the street. And you wonder why the subconscious you still chained to that environment, to that place. That could be your generational curse right there that's been broken. I just told you. That's why a lot of you, it's not that, and this is not an attack on people who go back and support the hood, support the trenches and the communities. No, I realize a lot of y'all inner child is comfortable in your adult bodies. You're comfortable. Religion the same way. Your inner child still comfortable with what's familiar. Not liberating you spiritually, but keeping you conformed mentally and emotionally, religious-wise. That's very harsh for y'all to accept. Your self-expression, your soul's expression. Because you never 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, because you was introduced to a religion, because you were introduced or indoctrinated in something, and you never truly got to self-express yourself in that school, in that house, in that place, and so forth. So a part of you still fucking there stuck. I was there. I was there. Until I had to realize, like, even through traveling through life and experiencing life, I already liberated myself. And that's still, the healing is an I already liberated myself. Now I get to travel wherever I want to, wherever my heart's desire, because no one controls that. That's another thing that's going to be illuminated. The limitations, the border patrol, control. Man, please, bro. If y'all only knew that your opposition is on the other side of your fucking fear, not just your fear, but the fears of those who were afraid to even speak, who didn't have the opportunity, not just because of the color of their skin, but it's because of the neighborhoods, because of the environments, because of the fact of their throat chakra, because of the fact that they repressed shit for so long and suppressed it. You wonder why your body's going through that. You wonder why people energetically are still holding on to shit. It's because these houses still hold on to things energetically. Imagine the spirits and the energies and the people, whatever happened in their place, the ground, these trees, this world still holds on to stuff. And you wonder why certain shit keep coming through certain cities. Plagues is what y'all call it. Dis-ease, discomfort, certain things have to be cleansed. Y'all gonna continue to realize why certain things have to happen in the world. Natural disasters, it's natural. It's the natural order. It ain't a disaster. Things have to happen. It's been happening before your ass got here. Years, eons, thousands of years. Shit has already been happening. What makes you think we are all special, unique, but what makes, like, I even tell myself, I ain't bigger than the program. I'm just here to implement it. I'm just here to, enforce it. I'm just here to drop my gems and keep it fucking moving. Touch not my anointed. I'm just here to do what I'm supposed to do. And whatever opposition comes up, I realize the truth gonna always outweigh a lie. No matter where you lie that lie, you can lie that lie down right there, lie down right there, until you have to stand up for something. That's all I got to say. Y'all take care of yourself. Peace and blessings. Shalom.